Chris Krok Show, News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM. Okay, so the illegals were taken from a nearby park outdoor where they were in a big old tent, and they were dumped into a high school that has 4,000 students that are high school students, Madison High School, where in New York City, where 53% of the students are black and Hispanic, and they are also a lower economics school, working class people, and a lot of free breakfasts and lunch that they did not get, and they were instead told, hey, do school tomorrow and the next day for the illegals, and we'll clean up the following day to sanitize it. But the parents are having absolutely none of that. And I love when this happens, because this is the most affecting lobbying for our side against Joe Biden's illegal invasion and against voting Democrat. Here we go.
Why at the cost of our children? Why at the health of our children? Because we're bringing the kids back and we're not sure what was used, what was sanitized. There's drops, there are knives, there are needles, there's guns.
One of the teachers did show up. She said good morning, gave him on the side and said goodbye.
It is very disruptive when you come and take over our school. And it's not even fair to the migrants as well. We told you that this is not sustainable and we need a better sustainable plan.
Oh, shut up. You don't matter. You mean nothing. Just go along with the program and smile. That's all. So what do you say to this? What do you think about this? I think this is great. I'm sorry it happens to these people, and I think it's great. Keep voting Democrat, guys. We're almost there. It's working out just great, isn't it? Joe's doing a great job. Border secure, can you tell? Some of the comments, though, as I read through all of these, all the comments from parents and folks in the community, one person says Madison, which is the high school where this happened, is a scan school where students can get scanned upon entrance, but the illegals get to bypass that as per NYPD. The children are being moved from place to place, will be forced to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to leave the school to go elsewhere. So, this is pretty amazing and crazy. As I mentioned, the several parents said teachers did not show up to provide on the provided links for remote learning this morning. Others opened Zoom by giving students an assignment and then promptly logging off. There you go. Screw you. I'm staying home for 2 days. Ha ha ha. The mothers stress this interruption in learning comes as their students are preparing for state regents exams and others that will impact their college applications after COVID lockdowns impacted by children's educations. Today, it's James Madison High School. Where is it tomorrow, the next day? These storms are coming. It's wintertime, says one. Now, Elon Musk issued a warning after he saw this on Twitter. And I retweeted it on my Twitter feed at Chris Krok Show. That's at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. And he says, this is what happens when you run out of hotel rooms. Soon cities will run out of schools to vacate and they will come for your homes. And by the way, you might think that's over the top or ridiculous and exaggerated or hyperbole. It is not. Don't you remember in Boston, the governor was asking people to do this? It was August 9th. Of last year, Governor Maura Healey, the Democrat governor of Massachusetts, asked residents to house illegal migrant families amid their growing illegal migrant shelter crisis. The governor declared a state of emergency over the crisis, asked residents to consider sponsoring illegals and have them in their homes. Remember that? That was great. I love that. Hey, guys, it's time to invite these illegals into your house. Remember the Navy-Army game last month? There was like 60-plus people told one travel agent in that area that their hotel rooms were canceled. The reservations were canceled. They had like 6 months, a year in advance, canceled. Because the illegals had taken over the hotels around the Army-Navy game, the big stadium there where the Patriots play, etc. I believe the Patriots play there. Anyway, One mom said, the border should be closed. We should not be allowing illegals coming to a country like this. Another one said, I don't want my children to participate in any activities at the school. I don't think the school will be disinfected enough. Another says, I blame the president, first of all, but you can't get to him, the mayor and the governor, for not stepping up and voicing their outrage at how we are supposed to support all these people. We can't feed and house the people that are already here. Hey, don't worry, there's more coming. We got more coming. This also from the Daily Mail, shocking footage showing hundreds of illegals sleeping on the floor in Brooklyn Assembly Hall after students kicked out of the class, as parents say they won't let their kids return because it's unhygienic. If I was one of those parents, I would seriously, if I could afford it or figure out a way to do it, withhold my kid from school for a week or two. Every one of them should withhold their kid for a week or two and say, if this ever happens again, we're not coming back. Something that you have to do something really drastic. You have to lay down a law with these, with the mayor and with the city and with the state. I am so glad this is happening. Do you remember the story I talked about where there was an illegal that went to a man's house? I saw the picture. It was in the New York Post. An illegal in New York City went to a man's house and knocked on his door begging, saying, she was cold, she was hungry, yada, da, yada, da. There is nothing better than illegal door knockers begging for food at these people's houses in New York City. This is the best thing ever. This is like having a Trump campaign, person knocking on doors for you, but it's even more effective, isn't it? Hello, sir, I need money, I'm hungry. I'm so hungry. I am illegal migrant. All right, get out of here, right? He said, nope, not going to give to you. Oh, good times. Good times. On the Chris Krok program. All right, this one on WFAA TV Channel 8 today. Texas supposedly ranks dead last in personal freedom. Did you ever think you would see that or hear about this? Texas ranks dead last in personal freedom, according to the Cato Institute in their study. They've been doing the study for 15 years, and they rank all 50 states for fiscal policy, regulatory policy, and personal freedom. Yeah, producer Garrett, I agree with you. He says we should be at least in the top 5. We should be 1 or 2. Can you think of another state that could be more free? There might be some that are more. Florida, yes, us. Yeah, Florida and us. And Alaska, I think, but then again, they've got some weird stuff too. I don't know those people enough. And I say those people because it's like a roadkill. Poke them and see what are you? What are you all about? Who are you? There's anomalies. You know what I'm saying? Like I did a show in Wisconsin, 2 shows in Wisconsin, and also in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And the people are different. And they're not what you expect as far as the culture and the voting and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know about Alaska. You would think so, maybe, but I've seen some stuff where I'm like, what? So maybe, I would hope so. But I don't know where else. I mean, you might think Wyoming, or you might think whatever. It's rural. Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to say. Those are rural states where it's almost meaningless. So we really should be in the top 1 or 2. I'm going to tell you why. They say that the Cato Institute says in their new study, they've been doing this study for 15 years, that Texas ranks dead last in personal freedom. Again, I totally think it's ridiculous, but nonetheless, I'll tell you why, and then you and I are going to talk about this. I want to ask you, do you think we're more free in Texas compared to other states, or less free? And how free do you think we are? How free do you feel in Texas compared to other states that you've been to? Oh, I got a lot to say about that, too. Coming up next on the Chris Krok Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM. Chris Krok program. Texas ranks dead last in personal freedom, a Cato study finds. They ranked all 50 states for fiscal policy. WFAA TV Channel 8 reporting this today. They ranked all 50 states for fiscal policy, regulatory policy, and personal freedom. And wow, they say we define freedom in a very traditional American way. It's the right to use your life, liberty, and property as you see fit, consistent with equal rights of others. How in God's name could we be last when you have California, New York, Illinois? Where's your vaccine card? Where's your mask? I mean, here's free healthcare for illegals. No more guns. No guns here, no guns there. Here, no guns. There, no guns. No guns everywhere. Where? Let's see here. They also say it's the right to use your life, liberty, and property as you see fit, consistent with the equal rights of others. The study is looking at more than 230 different policy issues. It ranges from gambling and educational freedom to marijuana and alcohol freedom. They even look at incarcerations and arrests. The news isn't all bad for Texas. Also found they look at overall economic freedom and ranked us 6th. They can take their list and shove it up their butt, and I'd like to use it as toilet paper if I come across it. That's about all it'll be useful to me, or filling up my wastebasket or my recycling thing at home. They say the fact is, if you love freedom, you have to let people and individuals make the choices that they make for themselves, again, as long as they're not directly harming other people. Okay, let's talk about this. To me, the best way to see how free you are compared to other states is to go to them. And to me, the best way, there's no better way, and by all means, you very well may have traveled a lot more than I have in this country. And so you also have your experiences from when you travel to God knows where, California, Colorado, whatever. And you've seen freedoms there, or you've seen a lack of freedoms in these places. So the questions I want to ask you before I get into my spiel on this is, do you think we're more free in Texas compared to other states, or less free? Do you think we're more free in Texas compared to other states, or less free? And how free do you feel in Texas compared to other states that you've been to? That's the key. How free do you feel in Texas compared to other states that you've been to? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Okay, the best thing for me is this. When I get into my car with my family and I'm headed to Illinois, the best way of testing how free I am is when I head and I go through Oklahoma and I feel free. Why? Because I can carry my license. I have a license to carry, so I can carry it concealed in Oklahoma. And then when I go into Missouri, I lose some freedoms. I lose some freedoms because of what I saw with COVID restrictions. I lose some freedoms because of what I saw with chaos and a lack of enforcing the law in St. Louis. But I certainly lose a tremendous amount of freedom when I cross over into Illinois. One of my very close folks in law enforcement in Illinois says, dude, absolutely, get that thing unlocked, get everything out of it, because I don't trust people that are cops too. There's leftists out there. I wouldn't trust one of them. You don't know, is what he said. So, and also I consulted with, I have a service that I have for when I carry and for protection if I have lawsuit or whatever, I have to shoot somebody or whatever, use self-defense. And I also can call them before I go somewhere and say, what are the laws there? What can I do? And then I get in touch with an attorney there and I get to talk to them. So I did that in Illinois, and basically it's like the attorney there said, have your gun safe with you, a small one or whatever, put it in the gun safe, take the magazine out of the gun, unchamber the round, have a clear chamber, and then put it in the back as far back as you can. I said, well, I have an SUV that's got open back. She's like, that's fine. Just put it way back there where you can't touch it. Okay. That's how I am not free in Illinois. And then I also, my Chirin stayed with my parents in Chicagoland about a year or two ago. I can't remember when. But they still had the COVID card where you had to show your COVID card to go in. Are you freaking kidding me? Do you know what my kids did? My parents didn't mind. I was real proud of all 4 of them for doing this. They made a fake card for both of my kids, like a fake vaccination card. My daughter did it with my son. I think she did it primarily, but she doctored it, and that way that she ain't getting it, he ain't getting it. Yeah, so they doctored one, printed it out, and signed it or whatever it was, and there you go. But how jaw-dropping and disgusting to see your child carded for a vaccine card to walk into a dang restaurant or a shopping mall or whatever it was in Illinois. That is disgusting. And they're not free to carry their firearms in places they should be. They're not free to be protected from the thugs that walk free and don't get put in jail and get let free. No. So I think there is, and they're not financially free with the heavy taxation, the toll roads everywhere. Mm-mm. And by the way, gambling, you're more free if you have gambling? Mm-mm. I say no to gambling. I don't want gambling. I'm not against it per se, but go to Oklahoma, go to Louisiana. We lose so much money. Great. You think it's a panacea? Ask Oklahoma. Ask Louisiana. Ask Illinois. They promised that state like 30 years ago they would pay off the toll and stop charging people. Never happened. They sold gambling as a panacea to pay for schools. Never happened as far as any answer. And legalizing marijuana, that's a bad thing too. If somebody wants to do it recreationally, I'm not here to condemn. I'm not here to condemn recreational use from time to time, but it should not be legal. The effects that we see in emergency rooms of teenagers and everything, no. Just look at Colorado and similar states. Look at Colorado and see how it's gone for them. It's not gone well at all. So no. I feel free in Texas. How free do you feel in Texas compared to other states you've been to? And do you think we're more free, I should say, do you think we're more free in Texas compared to other states or less free, as this Cato study finds today? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Coming up next on the Chris Krok Show as well, I promised to tell you at 9:30 tonight what weapon that is eerily reminiscent of 9/11 was found and seized as somebody tried to board a plane. I'll tell you about that coming up next. Also, speaking of not free, California is now trying to ban tackle football for kids under 12 and under. I'll tell you about that next. Looking at this Texas ranking dead last in personal freedom, according to the Cato study. You know what else? Some of these, here's the thing on the Cato whatever. I don't know much about them other than I know they're libertarian, right? And there are several things in libertarian land that I do not agree with. And I think when they rate us dead last, I think it's a matter of values. I think that's what it really comes down to, because they say in here, which is what libertarians think, is like, as long as it's not hurting anybody, then, let them be free, which is fine if you want to do that. But that's not how we are here in this state, our values. And I appreciate that. I feel very free here. In fact, for several years, I've been telling you how much freer we are, particularly during COVID and also in the past couple of years after COVID, because of the fact that I come back from going to Illinois, I'm like, what the heck? I mean, it's some scary crap. So anyway, I think it's just a matter of values. That's really what I think it comes down to. Now, Philadelphia TSA officers seize a box cutter hidden in a bandage wrapped around a man's arm. I mean, dude, if this doesn't set off alarms, I don't know what does. There was a man at the Philadelphia airport, and he goes through the alarm, what do you call it, the metal detector, whatever it is, and it was set off for obvious reasons, right? So during the search of the guy, they unwrapped an ace bandage wrapped around his lower arm and found a box cutter, a freaking box cutter. Like, it's not like he left it in his coat because he works at an occupation where he uses that, or because, like you or me, I mean, I break down boxes and throw it out there for recycling, and I use a box cutter. It's possible I could leave it in my coat and not notice it or something like that. No, this is hidden in his bandage. And the craziest thing in here is that there's no charges right now. I'm like, terrorism, anybody? I don't know if mental illness, criminal, or terrorism. I don't think there's many other options. So when a man's hand wrapped in Ace brand elastic wrap triggered an alarm at security checkpoint in Philadelphia International Airport, TSA inspected the man's arm, detected the box cutter was concealed beneath the wrapped hand and wrist. And the spokesperson for that region of the country for TSA said, "Hey, dude, gotcha," on the tweet. Well, that's cute, but what are you going to do to this guy? I know TSA doesn't file charges or prosecute, if you will, but dang. So Fox 29 in Philadelphia says no charges filed immediately as of right now. I really hope they will be charging that dude and doing a complete and total investigation on him. Hopefully the FBI is not too busy trying to put you and me in jail or trespassers into the Capitol in jail to actually look at this, or chasing after fake white supremacist Trump voters, right? By the way, I mentioned this when it came out. It's funny how Fox News has been talking about it the past week or so. I'm like, dude, I talked about it when the story came out like 3 weeks ago. I don't know how they missed this stuff. Oh, it came out on Christmas week, and we talked about right when I got back about it, it was about the lie of our military. Joe Biden lied on purpose. His administration lied on purpose. And the head of our military talked about white rage. Remember that clown on the, I want to know about white rage. They said there was white supremacy in not the liberal media. The media writ large lied. There's a white supremacy problem. I heard a whole montage from when that happened. And their own study, the government commissioned a third-party study. Joe Biden's administration commissioned a third-party study that found that, in fact, the population of white supremacists is greater outside of the military than inside of the military. And, in fact, they found little to absolutely no instances of it. And the main problem with people that are in there that are radicalized are gang members. Gang members. Not white supremacists, not radical Trump voters. They're liars. These people lie. Joe Biden and his administration lie all the time. Make up stuff to dispirit us, to make us dispassionate, and to shame us into voting and try to beat us down to stay home and not vote and not to support the person who's going to be the next president. I pray to God is Donald J. Trump. By the way, a quick thing today too, and I'm seeing the fake news CNN debate with DeSantis and Haley. They don't have a snowball's chance in hell of defeating Trump at this point. Everybody knows it now. But we'll play a few. It better really grab me by the you-know-whats if I'm going to play anything on that tonight, because it's going to be the same old crap. But we'll see. And then Trump did a town hall tonight, didn't he, on Fox? Okay, I got a little piece of audio that I'll pop it off real quickly, and then we're going to get into speaking of lack of freedoms, California is now closer to voting in a law that says if you want to play football, it's illegal to play tackle football for kids under 12. I have so much to say about that. But first, a quick tidbit from Trump's town hall tonight in Iowa. Just a little piece. Here we go. This is one little piece, and it's good.
Who would be in the running for vice president?
Well, I can't tell you that, really. I mean, I know who it's going to be.
Give us a hint.
We'll do another show sometime.
Well, what about any of the people who you've run against? Would you be open to mending fences with any of them?
I will. I've already started to like Christie better.
Who would be in
After he withdrew from the race today. That's great. Dude. I'm not saying he's not going to have all the Achilles heels and everything that he has always had, but he's calmer in most of his media stuff, media interaction and such. Anyways, and that's a good thing. California-backed bill banning contact football for kids under 12 passes committee, but didn't. Yeah, they haven't passed it yet, but it passes the committee. Okay, and this Democrat guy cited evidence that shows repeated head trauma has disastrous effects on young people, and says there's new. I love this quote that he gave us in the Daily Mail today. There's really no safe way to play tackle football. There's no safe blow to the head for a 6, 7, 8-year-old. This clown is acting like it's a car crash or like an NFL player smashing your 6-year-old kid. A 6-year-old smashing a 6-year-old. An 8-year-old smashing into an 8-year-old. They're prepubescent. What kind of... They could probably hit me full bore. I don't want to find out, but they could probably hit me full bore in their helmet and uniform and hurt me a little bit. But, I mean, come on. What are they, coming in at like 50 miles an hour? Strapped to a train? This is so stupid. And this idiot says sports like flag football are a safer alternative. Kids that are wildly successful in contact football, right? Full contact, real men's football, are overweight on the linesmen. And also, some of them are short and stocky and can't run super fast. Not everybody is a wide receiver, right? Not everybody is a running back. So your weight and your speed are what gets you to win in flag football. Not the same thing at all. Only for certain players in football is the speed and weight, lower weight, an asset. So this is really bad. You know what else is interesting? They talk about the at-risk youth. There's a sheriff who's a football coach in Sacramento County. So that's a big one, Sacramento. Sheriff James Cooper says this is a community, this is a structure that tackle football provides for underserved children, keeping them off the streets. I'll give you more details on this, but this is going to destroy things for minority kids that he mentors in that area. Also, I got so much on this, but I want to ask you this as a parent. Do you support banning tackle football for kids under 12 years of age? And would you let your son play tackle football before 12 years of age or after 12? Or both? And do you think they're trying to pass this to protect girls without saying it because more and more girls are playing, I don't know about tackle football, but flag football? So maybe they're trying to do this to protect girls. Obviously, this is pathetic to me. This is stupid. And I think if they want to have their own flag football thing, go start your own league. That's right. Great. But don't crap on ours. Let us do it. And they're trying to take away the decision of us, the parents. We talk about freedom and states having freedom. We, the parent, decide what's best for our children, not some clown who probably doesn't even have kids. Oh, I got so much more. By the way, it reminds me of, I'll never stop mentioning this from time to time on my show, the time when a twit moron, a woman from California, a legislator, tried to ban spanking your kids under age 6 or some stupid thing. I can't remember what it was. Something like that. And you know what her excuse was? She doesn't have kids, but she said she's the author of the bill. She came up with this. I have cats. I would never hit my cat. These are the A-hats. A-word, right? A-hats that are making laws for people like you and me that have kids. Holy crap. Think of all the laws we could put on them that they would be so angry about because, we don't know what it's like to be a single, godless, pinko communist leftist, right? Okay, so there's my questions for you. Do you support banning tackle football for kids under 12? Would you let your son or daughter play tackle football before 12 years of age or after it even? Or both? Do you think they're trying to pass this whole thing to protect girls without saying it as well? All right, that's coming up next. And I'm going to give you a whole bunch more examples on this coming up next on the Chris Krok Show. And, Brett, I forgot to say, I have Brett Favre audio. Brett Favre audio and a Brett Favre PSA that was released. I got the audio of it. You got to hear it where he's basically against tackle football for kids and stuff like. Oh yeah, it's gonna scare you. It's gonna scare you. We need to ban it. Next, California Democrat-backed bill banning contact football for kids under 12 passes committee, but will it actually pass the state? I don't know. But dude, would you actually support this? Would you support banning tackle football for kids under 12 years old? Would you let your son play tackle football before 12 years of age or even after 12? And do you think they're trying to pass this to protect girls without saying it? Because a lot of girls apparently are playing football now, younger age. But you got to hear this Brett Favre PSA and then Brett Favre's interview. This is going to scare the bleep out of you if you're vulnerable. Here we go.
Mom, Dad, let's talk about tackle football. I just learned about CTE, the brain disease caused by repeated hits to the head. The more years I play, the more I'm at risk. If you put me in tackle today...
By the time I'm a senior in high school, I'll have played 13 years of tackle football. I could already have CTE, and it will continue to destroy my brain.
Let me pause right there. Mom, Dad, or no, 8-year-old. Mom, Dad, you're killing me. You're killing me. You're making me mentally ill. I'm going to kill myself because of you when I'm older. Mom and Dad, you're killing me. Stop killing me. Ah! That's literally how they're playing this thing out. And it continues. And then Brett Favre eventually talks and says he's the boy. And now he's got it, supposedly. But guess what? He doesn't. No. In the interview I heard on this. But here we go.
Even after I stopped playing. So by the time I'm your age,
I could be fighting depression, struggling to keep my thoughts straight. I could become violent, even towards my own children. When I'm your age, what will matter to me is not my youth football career, but that, like you, I'm a great parent and I can provide for my family.
So please, keep me out of tackle football until I'm 14.
It's like Sally Struthers when she eats all the food of the Ethiopians. And she, help these people, they're dying. Or the stupid thing that comes out with the stupid thing with whatever her name is singing her stupid song. In the arms of an angel. And they're showing like little puppies and dogs. Yeah, whatever her name is. Yeah, Sarah McLachlan. Help feed these dogs, they're dying. Now they need some help down here. He's a professional football player. And your point on that, producer Garrett, by saying that is, but he might have issues. That's because he got beat the hell out of for 15, 20 years. How many of us, you and me, I played football fairly hardcore, 7th and 8th grade and half of my freshman year. I had no business playing anymore at that point. I sucked. But how many people are going to play on the level Brett Favre plays? What a disgrace this guy is. Yeah, 1 in a million. How many people are going to make it in the NFL? Like 1 in 800,000, 1 in 900,000? Your kid's not going to have this happen to you. And Brett Favre even admits in this interview, I'll play you the next piece when we come back here, coming up next. But Brett Favre doesn't even know if he's got CTE. And he's telling you, stay away. And I wouldn't let my kids play. If I was you, I would, no, I would. This kind of stuff. So, would you let so they're not trying to ban it now if your kid's under 12 in California. Would you do that? Would you support banning football for kids under 12? Getting back to what this, our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Getting back to what this Sacramento County Sheriff who mentors kids and coaches football, he says the sense of community, the structure that tackle football provides underserved children, keeping them off the streets, the confidence, mental well-being, the life skills fostered through the sport, particularly with the underserved communities, are immeasurable. For some adolescents, tackle football serves as their sole structure, source of structure, offering positive role models and guiding them towards positive and productive path. He noted there have been no pressure on sports like ice hockey or lacrosse, which my brother played for years. There's no pressure on them, and yet they get concussions all the time. And those sports are played in more affluent communities, he notes, which is true. And nobody's calling for them to be banned. No, just the underserved people. Just like when Joe Biden and Mayor Eric Adams dumped their illegals in a high school, they didn't go to the lily white area with tons of money. All right, I'm going to play a Brett Favre part of his interview with this, saying how he wouldn't let his kids play it and such. All that's coming up next. The question is, would you support banning tackle football for kids under 12? And would you let your son under 12 or even over 12 play? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I'll play Brett Favre's interview, a part of it, from News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM. Next.